All right. Um, Today is Wednesday, June 5th, 2019, day 66 of NoFap. I got to count the days actually because I need to make sure that I know which day is which. But today is day 66. So how do I feel today? I feel good, obviously, but what I am starting to notice is that I feel like the benefits that I was first noticing in the very beginning of NoFap, like the first couple of weeks, up until like the second month, those like that positive feeling is starting to sort of wane a little bit. Like I think that I'm starting to normalize slightly, and it makes sense because I've heard that in order to create a habit, you have to perform a particular action for like 22 days, and I haven't been masturbating for 22 days, so I think my body is starting to get used to that and it's starting to somewhat normalize. And I'm getting into the habit of not masturbating. Um, so the positive effects, are definitely still there. Like I definitely still feel confident. I definitely still feel clear-headed. I still feel focused, and I'm able to, uh, you know, I feel I feel energetic. I feel like I can do things. I'm still working out every day. I'm actually on like a new routine that's um, 6 days a week workout routine, and you only get one day of rest. And so I've done it before. It's really brutal in the beginning, and I'm only on week one right now. My body will normalize with that too. So um, yeah, I'm just trying not to fall back into pornography, masturbation, trying really hard because actually, and I think I may have said this on the video from a couple of days ago. I actually viewed pornography, and I figured out that after I had viewed it, something got into me again. Like I should not have done that. I should not have looked at it, because I found myself like craving it, again, and I hadn't been feeling cravings for a very long time. So that taught me a lesson, which I should have already learned because I had gone 90 days before. And what actually killed me uh, on my NoFap streak was that I found so basically when I did this before, I was helpless when I was doing it before. When I first tried it 90 days with NoFap, I was helpless. I actually made it to 45 days and then broke. And the reason I broke was because I mean, shit, like I was 20. Well, yeah, I was 20. I was a sex fiend. I just couldn't imagine going through my day to day stressful bullcrap and not being able to jack it. So, so I made it 45 days that first time. But then when I went the full 90 days, maybe like 2 weeks maybe before the 90-day mark, I found porn on Tumblr, right? So I was in helpless shape. I couldn't stop for the life of me. It was really rough, and it still is rough. Um, Not as rough right now because it's day 66. So obviously my mental has changed drastically, but I know what it feels like. So and I want to put this on YouTube. Anybody that's watching this video and you got like a serious pornography addiction problem, at least one person understands where you're coming from, right? Like other people may not have the problem and this disproportionately affects males, obviously. So maybe you know women don't understand you or understand it or whatever. At least one person out there understands you. I understand you. I know how difficult this shit is. And there are people that I know that aren't even internet porn addicts that have trouble stopping. Um, but when I first started, I was in sorry shape, so I had to use a blocker. I had to use an I didn't use DNS. I used like a program called K9 Blue Coat, and I just pretty much blocked all pornography, and it worked. It worked for a very long time. I had a friend set the password for it. The way K9 works is you set what category you want to filter out, and there's a supervisor password that you need to put in if you want to access a site that's in the block list, such as pornography. So I had a friend make the password. I told him, don't tell me the password for the life of you. Don't ever tell me that password. In the end, it didn't really matter. I could obviously get around it because I'm not dumb when it comes to computers and shit like that. But yeah, you'd have to think about it, and you have to take one more chance to think about it. You got one more chance to think about it before you got around it. So that's why I told my friend, hey, put the password in this. Don't tell me this password. It was more symbolic than anything else. But when I first did make its 90 days, probably 2 weeks before I broke like day 96, 97. I found porn on Tumblr because a Facebook friend had linked some pornography on Facebook that was like a repost from a fucking porn Tumblr. And I click on it because, obviously my curiosity is going to get the better of me. And then after not viewing pornography for like 80 something days or 70 something days, and you finally see it after that long, the reaction is just like you feel like you're looking at you feel like you just uncovered an ancient civilization. You feel like you're looking at aliens. You're like, whoa, this is hot. Like, like you actually feel like you're back in your earlier self, and you're looking at it and you're just like, I can't help it, but I'm feeling something. My heart's racing, my breath is short. You feel it. You feel it. So that was a failure. But like everyone knows, most people know, and you should know, there are nuggets of knowledge and wisdom in failures. So that failure, which wasn't really a failure because I did aim for 90 days and I did make it, but still it's a failure because the trick was to go forever without it. Anybody that's watching porn, like, understand that that is not a constructive activity. You want to stop watching porn forever. If you can make it happen, you want to stop. Um, and that situation with the Tumblr, because I kept going back to it. I kept, hey, like days would go by. I'd be like, we're going to Tumblr, look at some porn. Why would you waste your time looking at porn? Especially if you're not going to be jacking off. Like, why would you look at porn and not jack off? Like, you could be easily spending that time doing something else, something constructive, something that isn't just viewing pornographic material. I understand you're not releasing your seed, but you're wasting your time, which you might as well just go ahead and just jack off at that point if you just want to waste your time. So it was Tumblr that pretty much got the sickness back in me. It got it back in me, and eventually, like a couple days went by, and my my inner porn addict was bargaining again. He always bargains. He's bargaining with the guy upstairs, you know, mentally, telling him, "Hey, you made it 90 days. You made it your goal. It's like day 96, day 97. No one's gonna beat you up if you just beat off." And in fact, I had made it 90 days before, and I didn't truly understand the way addictions worked. I was still kind of operating with this fallacy, stating that porn addiction's like totally different than like a heroin addiction or a meth addiction or a cocaine addiction or any addiction to any hardline drug. Addiction to pornography is totally different. And of course, the science is still kind of lagging behind, but I really did think that. I thought that it wasn't the same. I thought that the brain changes weren't the same. I thought that the consequences aren't exactly the same, but there are consequences nonetheless. Um, so because I thought all that, I thought, you made it 90 whatever days. You're done. You are now cured. You are no longer a porn addict. And that was like 6 or 7 years ago. And now look at me here, still a porn addict. I still have a very clear neural connection to pornographic content. And the only option is to just let that neural connection die, let it break apart. So, but yeah, well, why am I saying this? I viewed pornography and I noticed that it came back to me. It was like a craving. Fortunately, the craving went away because I haven't acted on that craving yet. But it taught me, don't watch pornography. You can't be trusted, and you're going to need a lot more than 90 days in order to get rid of your pornography addiction. That's what it told me. So I just got to make sure that I'm being diligent, making sure that the guy inside, that animal inside, stays caged up and only comes out when I need him to. When I got like a task that I need the guy inside to execute, but he doesn't execute that masturbation task anymore. That's done. So yeah, things are going good. I'm feeling good. I'm proud of my recent accomplishments, and I've got a lot more um, stuff planned for this month. So we'll just handle it all as it appears, and you know, try to keep this NoFap thing under control. Um, so yeah, I guess I'll end the video here. So day 66 of NoFap down, day 67 coming up.